Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So let's continue. We are about to add the information that we see here to these icons there. So we did create a table here where we have the settings and their possible values here. So let me go back to my admin here for a second. And let me go to settings and click on social links and contacts. So this is the part right here. Now, if I come to, where is this here? If I go to the controller, that is the settings, the admin controller. There we go. And in the settings function right here, I can check to see if anything was actually posted. So I can say if. So we are looking for the post variable. If count post is greater than 0, then we have something in there. So here what I can do is I can just say show post variable. That way we can see what is actually being sent here. So if I have a phone number here, so let's come here and see what the phone number is for this. +291. Let's try just something different, something like that. And let me send my email here, info@mywebsite.com. So let me try and hit save settings here. So clearly I didn't get any of that. So let's see why we are having those problems. So let me go back to the, wait a minute, the settings page. It's actually socials.php. All right, there we go. So everything here looks good. Now the important thing with inputs is to add their names there. So that is very, very important. So if you look at this input here, there is no name, so that way it cannot be saved in the post variable. So let's add a name here, like so. So the name will be equal to the setting itself without any changes. So I'm going to paste that setting there. Of course, I need to add my PHP tags there with an equal sign, like so. And let me come back here for a second. Now let me try again, and I'm going to put a number here again, +3, just a random number here for a second, hit save. And this time you can see that we do have something here. So the important thing is that these variables here are matching the columns, not the columns per se, but the values inside the setting column here, which is exactly what's happening. So Google Plus link, is that the one? Yes. Okay, so everything seems fine, only this value has a value. So now how can we actually save this? So let me go back to my admin.php. So while we are here, we need to evoke the setting class and then have it save something. So setting.class.php there from the models folder. And this is where we get all the settings. However, I want us to save the settings. So public function here will suffice, public function, save. I think maybe we can just do save like that. And then let's just expect the whole post variable here so we can process it from here. Now, since this is the admin section, we don't really need that much validation, because we are not giving this to the public. This is the admin who knows their website well, so they can pretty much put whatever values they want in those boxes. So we need not worry too much about validation. All we need to do is protect the database by using prepared statements, and that's about it. So in here, I'm going to get that instance. I actually need exactly how this whole thing looks like here. So we will not bother with any validation whatsoever, because the admin knows best what they want to do. And so let's notice this a little bit here. So we have all these things that have exactly the same value in the setting, right? So what I want to do is save these settings one by one, because these are different rows here. This is one row, another row, and so on. So it's not in one row that I can just add all these values at once. So what I need to do is create separate queries here for each one. So I'm going to update this one, and I'm going to update the value based on the array, the key there, sorry. So what I will do here is do a for each statement. So I'm going to say for each post. So keep note that I'm using post without an underscore here, because I'm not talking about the global variable. This is just a variable that works only in this function. So it's important you don't put the underscore there. It will work if you put the underscore there, but that will be a violation because we are getting a global variable. So we want to get this one that was passed in. That way our code is more portable. So for each post as key and value. So every time there's a key and value, we can create a query to actually save the data. So let's run a query here. I'm just going to move these two. Let me move one of them for now. So query is going to be equal to update settings. And then let's do a set, put a space there. And then now we can add, actually we don't need to loop here. We can just say set setting. Actually it's value, because the column that we are setting here is the value column. So we're going to say set value will be equal to the value that we want to send right now. So let's use a prepared statement instead, like that. So update settings set value is equal to value, where the setting be equal to setting, like so. And then let's just do limit one, just to limit to one at a time. So once it does it once, it doesn't have to check for more entries. Once it finds the first one, it can return. And then let's move this one up here. Let me remove that. So we are simply updating. We don't care what was there originally, we're just updating it now. So this is going to be is it read or write, or maybe it's save? I forget what I use sometimes here. So let me go back to the core and take a quick peek here in the database. So it's read and write. Okay, great. So that's actually it. So once we loop through here, we'll go through those, but at this point there should be an array we are using for the prepared statements. So I'm just going to say array is equal to an empty array, so that we flush everything from it. And then array, let's say key be equal to value, like so. Okay, so we are grabbing whatever the key is and assigning the value to that. And then we can put that array here to run for our prepared statements. And yeah, that's essentially it. So let me see this in action. Let me go back to the admin page here. So right here, I'm just going to use this class here. I'll paste it there. And I'm going to say settings, save, and then do post like so. Oh, here I have to use the global variable since I'm passing it in. And that's it. That should work just fine. So let's come back here for a second, and I'm going to refresh, resend. Okay, so invalid parameter number of bound variables. This is very true because I have a different number of bound variables compared to what I have put here. So here, for example, we have a key and a value, right? Let me go back here for a sec. Oh, that information is lost. So let's say, for example, I have a, come here. The current one, let's say, is phone number. So there's going to be phone number, and there's going to be a value there. So what I want here is to replace this variable value and that setting there inside this array. So there must be two variables here. So the first one should have value, and the first one should have value, and the other one should have setting. So this is my bad. So what I'm supposed to do is move this key over here. And then in here, I'm going to say this one is the setting. And then this one is the value. Like so. Okay, that should suffice. So let's come back here and try it again. Resend. So unexpected token $online 23. So let's see, what mistake have I made? Okay, so there's a dollar at the end. I don't know why that is there. Finally, fingers crossed. Refresh. Okay, there we go. Now the number is saved, because now if I just refresh, now this is the thing here. Every time I refresh like this, it will ask me to resend the data, even though I have saved it. So to prevent that, we're going to have to refresh the page every time we save like this. So once we get to here, we don't want to refresh immediately after one item is saved. We want to refresh afterwards, and we don't want to do it here inside the model. We want to do it in the controller. So let's go to our controller, the admin controller. So after this is done, everything is okay, then we can. So the thing is, we don't expect any errors inside this saving of settings because we haven't put any validation rules. So people can put whatever they want there, and it shouldn't really matter. But if you are going to put some errors, you'd have to add a property here called error, which is here right there. Now, instead of using a string like this, another way is to use an array. So you can have an array, an empty array like so. And then whenever you find an error, just add the error to error there by doing, you can say something like this error. Then you do that and say is equal to maybe an error, something like that. Okay, so once you're done, you can return this error, and then here you can capture the errors by saying errors is equal to. So this is going to be an array full of errors at the end of the day, if there are any errors. So we can leave it like that, just for you to probably get used to doing things like that. So even though we don't have any errors. So what I would do here when I'm done with this, I can just say return this error. And then at the top of the page here, this error is supposed to be set to an empty array. just in case there were other errors we had dealt with and the instance is still active, then the errors will still be in there. So we have to reset, add a few errors in between, and then return those errors. But in our case, we are not even using it, so it's just going to return an empty array every time. So here, what I need to do is to actually not here, but here in the admin controller. Right after this, I want to do a header location. Okay, so now I want to redirect to something else. So let's put our root there and then redirect to a very specific page. In our case, we want to redirect to exactly the same page without going to another one. So the page is admin settings socials. That's what it is. Like that. And then let's tell it to have a clean break and die. Alrighty then, so let me refresh this and let's resend. So it's going to send the same information again, but this time if I hit refresh, I'm not going to get that question of do you want to refresh? So let me add an email here. info@mywebsite.com, and then let's hit save settings. And that's it. Settings have been saved. So we are using the direct way of posting here, but you could use Ajax if you want to save in the background. You can use Ajax, but I've already shown you how to do that in the products and categories, so you can improvise here. Here we're just going to do it this straightforward way. Okay, so let's do Facebook link as well. So I'm just going to say www.facebook.com, and I'm going to do the same for Twitter, and then I'm going to leave the others open like this so that we can see when things are not working well. So let's save that. Okay, so everything has been saved here, and what we're going to do in the next video is to actually apply them here, which is going to be very, very easy. I'll see you in the next video.